Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to a lively midweek broadcast of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. I'm Anulu Akpoido, and we are here to ease you into Tuesday with timely updates, insightful analysis, and conversations that matter as you start your day.
All right, and I'm Samson Balogo on this show this morning. Whether you are stepping out or settling in at work or watching from home, thank you for choosing us as part of your morning routine. Let's get you properly informed this morning.
We begin with Daybreak Gist, where we examine pressing global development. In focus this morning, our reports that United States President Donald Trump has threatened potential military action against Colombia following the raid linked to Venezuela. And that's one of the big stories. Meanwhile, we also take the story very importantly that is just breaking, that Kwakwanso and Governor Yusuf have parted ways over defection plan. We'll see what this means for this political space, especially as we speak today.
Right, absolutely. Across the country, there's a lot to talk about. This particular one ignited debate and definitely talking about international one around regional security and raised questions about international law, sovereignty, and the broader implications. These are more we'll be talking, and also we'll bring you up to speed on weather reports and forecasts across major Nigerian cities to help you plan your activities today.
Up next is Daybreak News, a sharp roundup of the stories shaping Nigeria, Africa, and the wider world.
All right, after this is our new super headlines and analysis. This morning, we are pleased to welcome Ibe Leonard Chidera, a public affairs analyst making his debut on Daybreak Live. He will walk us through the front pages and unpack the key issues driving today's headlines.
Absolutely. Our big story today turns the spotlight back to Rivers politics under the theme, defection politics. Has Fubara outsmarted his political godfather? That's a question for Samson. But
a very big one.
With Governor Fubara's defection still sending shockwaves, questions, innuendos about strategy, loyalty, and political survival. Was this a calculated masterstroke or a risky gamble in a complex power play?
Well, I think there was a lacuna, and Fubara was able to plug in deep into that. Let's see what will happen when our guest comes on.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Joining us to examine this unfolding drama is Ignatius Ebo-Salome Ofino, a researcher and public affairs analyst, who helps us assess the political maneuvers, the actors involved, and the possible consequences ahead.
And before we draw the curtains, today we'll bring you Trend Watch, a snapshot of what Nigerians are actively discussing both online and offline.
Yes, interestingly, you have to stay with us for insights, context, and clarity on Daybreak Live.
And you're watching Dominion Television, particularly Daybreak Live. So let's get started.
Let's get the party started.
Actually, the day has broken. Good morning to you, Samson.
Good morning. Good to have you back on the show.
I mean, it's a beautiful morning this morning.
A very beautiful one. There's a lot to talk about. And if we are starting from the home scene this morning, you would just broke just this morning that the crack in the NNPP has gotten wider, and definitely there is a crisis between the godfather and the godson, and in fact the gap has widened so much that there's a crisis between them. That's going to Kano State, talking about Governor Abba Yusuf and the godfather Rabi Musa Kwakwanso. And you begin to ask this question: what does loyalty really mean in Nigerian politics now? Does it mean that when you are loyal to a particular point, you tend to think about yourself and not about your godfather anymore, because you know you have to survive? And when survival instincts kicks in, when we talk about political space in Nigeria, who bears the brunt? And I think there's a crisis in the NNPP. Recently, there was news about defection of governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, who won, rode on the horse of the NNPP to win the election into the government house in the last election. And definitely, you would expect him to stay put, because NNPP is deeply rooted in Kano State as we speak. At least for them to have won an election, that means a lot. It means that they have the crowd and they have the support of the people. But what exactly is wrong with the NNPP in Kano State that made that news to break? And even Kwakwanso mentioned something that if at all was going to cross to any political party, must have been the political party that has thought of giving him the vice presidential ticket or the presidential ticket, because he doesn't want to come and just be a member of the party, or maybe given a title that really has no meaning, like is the leader of our party. In what capacity? So these are things that are currently being discussed across Kano State. And before you come on, a few months ago, the former chairman of the NNPP, who happens to be of the APC in Nigeria, who happens to be also a former governor of Kano State too, and that's talking Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, resigned. And people thought, oh, maybe he resigned purposely because the presidency said, look, we are bringing Kwakwaso into the party, and they wouldn't want to be a member of a political party where you are the chairman because of the rift between you two. Maybe you should step down, because he said on health grounds, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, after that, he took another appointment. And, you know, people were asking questions, is he now okay now? Because it was just between a few weeks. So that has done a lot in the Kano politics. What exactly is going on within Kano State? Is there a crack? Is the APC plugging into the gap in Kano State right now?
Well, just like you mentioned, so we've established that the new Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, in Kano State has strong force. It has a strong movement, especially considering how many members at the legislative arm belong to the party, and maybe a bit of the federal as well. But I think there's a similarity between this story and that of Rivers State, particularly between Nyesom Wike and Siminalayi Fubara. But there is a slight difference, as it were, too, and the difference is just that, according to a source, they said the governor has secured the support of about 40 members of House of Assembly, led by Speaker Jibril Ismail Fagore and all the 44 local government chairmen. So he has the support of, let's say, the legislative. So if you have that, that's kind of like a calm for you. Even when there's tempters, when there is uproar, when there is fear and every of those uncertainties as we have them. But the case now is that he has the backing of the legislative arm in the state. And this might seem like a win case for him. Not a win-win, but a win-lose. But because the governor has won, and of course his godfather might not have won. And then also maybe just to state a bit of claims also, according to a report, that what really brought about all of this is the defection situation, the defection, the hearsays, the innuendos about defection and all that. But we've also spoken about it, and I think it's a continuous conversation, especially with defection and with our political actors and leaders in the country, Nigeria. It seems to be a normal thing for them to do, to defect, and there seems to be no problem as long as where you are going has a strong, maybe like they say, attaching themselves to the center, playing to the, dancing to the tunes played by the center, which is, well, in a way, maybe good for them. But about Rabiu Kokanso and, of course, Abba Yusuf, I think one might say, maybe just to borrow from one of the things that happened in Rivers State, that if he plays his card well, I mean the governor, he has a chance, because if he has the backing of the legislative, like I rightly said, then there's a chance that there's no case of maybe impeachment or all of those processes coming up. So if there's no scare for that, if you're not losing your seat, then there seems to be like, well, I don't really have to fight so hard, because whoever wants to fight me, particularly is not in the FCT, and is not the minister of the FCT. So whoever is fighting me might not have the federal power, the federal sovereignty, this federal veto to do anything that might affect me. But again, one of the things the governor might be scared about is the loyalty of the people. Now, because if your predecessor goes out to soil your image, because I know they have their secrets, right? It's just simple to just open a press conference and tell them, I brought this guy in, this guy did this, and then they
told you this about him.
Exactly. So the whole case becomes
what I told you now is no longer correct.
Exactly. So
where does that put you as a leader?
But I mean, I'm not sure we practice leadership in Nigeria, but it's politics. So they do a bit of this and that. It's all about interest, like we also mentioned yesterday. If he favors me, then it's okay. If he doesn't favor me, then I switch to another thing that might favor me. But defection has been a problem, and if you are not seen as a problem, someday, somehow, soon enough, I don't want to say maybe in the sweet by, because soon enough, actually, it will become a problem in the country, especially with governors.
The magnet? Is it a political magnet that draws every sitting governor in Nigeria to the ruling party?
I think some have said that there's an initial plan to make this happen. And it's not just because the party is doing very well. It's not because the current administration at the center is doing everything well.
They have made claims about trying to, align with the party at the center so that the people, their constituents sometimes, and of course, people of their states can actually enjoy dividends of democracy. Now, the question is, if you say you want to join the party because you want your people to enjoy more from the federal government, what exactly do they stand to enjoy? Now, let me cite a very quick instance as regards this. there was a bomb blast, an explosion in Ibadan recently. I think that was January 2024, and there was a sitting PDP governor. They had a crisis. They called on the federal government. We need 50 billion naira to solve this case. The federal government released 30 billion. The money was to be released in tranches, and then they released the first 30 billion, remaining 20 billion. Now, that happened even when the PDP was in Oyo State and APC was at the center. So that does not stop governance. That does not mean that the people will not enjoy the federal government. But then there's something else that the ruling class are not telling us. Why do you want to be in a political party? This has to be a question you have to answer yourself. Holistically, you must be able to check, why am I moving to this party? Is it because of me? Am I trying to secure my future politically? Is it because of the people? Do I want to give them more? I mean, I don't think there is really more you can give them, even if you don't belong to any political party, than making sure that you provide all the basic amenities, all the rudiments of governance. I mean, what else can you give the people than give them water, give them road, give them basic security? These are basic things. These are the responsibilities of the government. Now, all these things are being done by the people themselves. You see a man who has built his house and then, has hired a megad. I mean, just make sure that everything is safe. Some people will buy dogs. They are buying dogs as expensive as 2 million, 3 million, even 4, 5 million. And sometimes, depending on the species of the dog you are buying. That's people dig boreholes in their own houses. Then people install solar panels. These are things that originally the government should provide, and they have not provided, and then I have decided to do it on my own. Now, away from that, that does not mean you have to move from your political party to another political party. You can easily stay put and still give the people what they deserve. I mean, recently people said, allocation has increased by 500%, it has increased by so 100%. And I don't think any governor has come out to say, this is exactly how much you have received from the federal government. They have not done that. Even some people have accused Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, that, you took 30 billion naira. Even, they said you took 50 billion naira. You said, no, it's not 50 billion naira. We have taken 30 billion naira. Even the 30 billion naira, you did not declare.
And yes, and again, what have you done? But let me speak to what you said. I like the perspective that you brought in, especially with your state situation, because the fear might be why we are joining the center, like you mentioned, is because we want the center to favor us. Ideally, if certain things
about protection.
Well,
with my tenure,
but let's.
I don't want to be chased about by the
EFCC. But let's talk about the fact that we understand what happened in Oyo State. There's an intonation of politics, and I don't like it when we politicize everything, but we politicize everything, and that's the fact. What happened was you were promised 50 billion, you were given 30 billion. Now, there is, according to the Oyo State and the Oyo State government, they said they would not spend the money because they are still expecting the 20 billion. Why was the 20 billion withheld? They said it's because they want him to dance to the tune of the incumbent administration at the national level, that if he does not do that, then they might not release. So they are waiting for that. But the point is, if there's a catastrophe in a place and you budgeted a particular amount of money to cater for, that means you have done something called surveillance. Right. You have done reconnaissance survey. You have known what is needed. So you have established that this amount is okay to do this. Now, the problem is, if you are not releasing every of those money that you have promised them, what if the money was supposed, let's say about 50 houses were collapsed or were actually, how do they put that now? Maybe 50 houses got destroyed, right? And you want to help the 50 houses and the 50 landlords, and you want to give them everybody 1 billion. For example, if you take 20 billion away, 20 people are going to lack that fund. The fund is not about politics. The fund is about the people. Right. And if you serve the interest of the people, even at national level, 50 billion was promised, 50 billion should be disbursed. And I think that's also a claim that if it was an APC government in Oyo State, maybe the 50 billion would have been disbursed without questions, right? But maybe that's one of the claims too. And I think also maybe we should ask the question from the government. They said they have not touched the money. So what have you been using to do So that means you are taking from somewhere you're not supposed to take from.
Well, I think, when it comes to governance in Nigeria right now, one really has to tread carefully, because when it comes to godfatherism, when it comes to you making decisions about which political party you want to belong to, when it comes to you deciding what you want to do for the people, it goes beyond you taking personal decisions. It's about you being inclusive. What do the people really want? I want to be sure that Governor Abba Yusuf consulted the people of Kano State to say, look, we want to move from NNPP to APC. So what exactly should we do? And I think if the House, they are with him on this, I think he has about, let's say, he has the people of Kano State, because these are representatives of different constituencies, okay? So that means that all the things being equal, he has a chance of moving to the party without having issues with what you will call impeachment. And but then what will happen is, by the next election, will Kwankwanso work against Abba Yusuf just because he left him in the NNPP, even though he did everything humanly possible to make him governor? Don't forget, it became an issue, right? Just before you come in, it became an issue. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje had a candidate of his own who wanted to succeed him as governor. And Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, who was an ex-governor too, also had Abba Yusuf. I said, look, it's a battle to finish, because we are friends. We used to be friends, and then we are no longer friends. Maybe politically, we are no longer on the same page, and my candidate has to win. And eventually, Abba Yusuf won. It became a crisis too when Abba Yusuf was going after every infrastructure, that is tagged Abdullah Umar Ganduje in Kano State, until recently when they stopped. But then, all things being equal, I think we should stop playing politics of bitterness and politics of we have to be there at all costs. Okay? It doesn't matter how many tenure you serve. The most important thing is that one tenure. That's 2 years. I mean, those 2 years you have spent, those 3 years, even if you cannot complete your tenure, how well did you do? We have had people who only served maybe 6 months as governors, and they are still being mentioned today. People who served under 2 years, under 3 years. Till tomorrow, people still talk about Lateef Jakonde in Lagos State. People still talk about Victor Molulu Oluloyo in Oyo State. People still talk about Lam Adesina in Oyo State too. So it doesn't matter how many years. All that matters is what did you do when you were there. And maybe that would be the convenient point to put it before we...
Yes, absolutely. But let me just say in passing that how much hurt can Rabi Kwankwanso do to Abba Yusuf? Maybe that's a question for
that will
another
be during
time.
the election. Right now, I don't think there's too many.
But even at the election, I'm not so sure there's much. But anyway, we'll keep our fingers
crossed. There's a lot. Rabi is deeply rooted in Kano State.
Okay.
He's deeply rooted in Kano State.
See.
Well, that will be the convenient point to leave
that
topic. Well, let's take weather report on this show this morning. And we'll be starting with the ancient city of Ibadan, the Asian metropolitan city of hospitality, Ibadan. Let's see what the weather looks like in Ibadan this morning. And talking about Akinyele in Ibadan, it is mostly cloudy across the city and at 26 degrees Celsius. It will be partly cloudy later in the morning and rise to 29 degrees Celsius. Well, there will be a sharp rise from 29 degrees Celsius to 36 degrees Celsius in the afternoon, while being sunny. It will be clear in the evening at 28 degrees Celsius. And overnight, it will be cloudy at 25 degrees Celsius in Ibadan today.
And let's take a stretch from your state now to Lagos State to see what the weather feels like. Maybe there's so much difference, or maybe there are similarities in what the weather would say in Lagos. Of course, just 1 degree higher than Ibadan. Of course, Lagos is partly cloudy, expected to be across board today at 27 degrees Celsius. And later in the morning, it rises by 2 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, also partly cloudy, and rises much further by 3 degrees Celsius in the afternoon to 32 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. And 29 degrees Celsius is what we are expecting in the evening. Of course, expected to be partly cloudy as well. It's mostly cloudy overnight at 28 degrees Celsius in Lagos. That's the expectation or the weather forecast for today in Lagos.
Well, moving on, let's take what the weather looks like in Osogbo this morning. At 24 degrees Celsius, it is currently mostly cloudy in Osogbo. Later in the morning, it will rise to 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy. And by afternoon, it will be sunny at 36 degrees Celsius, almost the same in the afternoon with that of Ibadan today. It will be clear in the evening at 27 degrees Celsius, while it will be cloudy overnight, same as Ibadan, at 24 degrees Celsius today in Osogbo.
And still in southwest, of course, Abeokuta South is where I land now, and in Ogun State, the weather feels like 26 degrees Celsius, cloudy, and that's exactly the situation. Later in the morning, it rises to 30 degrees Celsius, also partly cloudy, then 36 degrees Celsius in the afternoon, and that's what is expected. And overnight is 26 degrees Celsius expected to be cloudy in Abeokuta, South Ogun State today.
All right, moving on to Ekiti, and that's the last one we'll take in the southwest this morning. It is currently mostly cloudy at 22 degrees Celsius right now, and while later in the morning it will rise to 28 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny. It will remain mostly sunny in the afternoon at 34 degrees Celsius, while it will be partly cloudy in the evening at 25 degrees Celsius and drop 2 notches to 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy overnight in Ekiti today.
And from Ekiti to Port Harcourt to River State today, the weather feels like 22 degrees Celsius across the board. Then it rises by 6 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy in Port Harcourt, River State. And later in the afternoon, it rises much further to 31 degrees Celsius by 3 degrees Celsius also. And it's expected to be partly cloudy. Then it drops to 24 degrees Celsius in the evening, and also expected to be partly cloudy. It's also going to remain cloudy overnight at 22 degrees Celsius in River State today.
Okay, moving on, let's take weather report in the north central, and that's Suleja, Niger State this morning. It is currently fair at 23 degrees Celsius. It will be sunny in the morning, later in the morning and the afternoon at 32 degrees Celsius and 37 degrees Celsius respectively. It will be a sharp drop to 27 degrees Celsius in the evening, while it will be clear, and also clear overnight at 22 degrees Celsius in Suleja, Niger State today.
And not very far from Suleja to Abuja at 23 degrees Celsius, the same weather almost in Suleja. The weather is fair, and later in the morning rises to 31 degrees Celsius, expected to be very sunny. And also it goes much further by 5 degrees Celsius up to 36 degrees Celsius, expected to be sunny as well. Then the weather becomes clear later in the evening at 27 degrees Celsius. Then it drops much further by 5 degrees Celsius overnight to 22 degrees Celsius, expected to be clear in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, today.
Well, before Anu travels to Kano State this morning, let me take this very quickly from Ilorin. And it's currently fair at 22 degrees Celsius in Ilorin, Kwara State this morning. It will rise to 28 degrees Celsius later in the morning and sunny in Kwara State. It will remain sunny in the afternoon at 37 degrees Celsius, while in the evening it will drop to 29 degrees Celsius, clear right there. It will be mostly cloudy overnight at 24 degrees Celsius in Ilorin, Kwara State today.
And traveling to where something has sent me, in Kano State particularly, the weather is going to be fair across board at 14 degrees Celsius, quite whooping. And it rises by 10 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius, expected to be sunny in Kano today. Then it rises much further to 3 degrees Celsius, also expected to be sunny in the afternoon hours of today. And evening, it drops to 23 degrees Celsius by 10 degrees Celsius, also expected to be partly cloudy. Then it drops much further to 17 degrees Celsius overnight, and the weather will be clear in Kano Municipal, Kano State today.
Well, I guess that will be the convenient point to leave a report this morning. Do well to link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Broadcast 2. Also, you can link up with us on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. You can watch us live on our YouTube channel and definitely on our Facebook channel too. Do well to leave a comment. We'll definitely take them on this show this morning. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we take the news. We'll be back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
Hello and welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Anu Oluwapo Idu. President Bola Tinubu has written 2 letters to the Senate seeking confirmation of 21 nominees for the boards of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC). This was disclosed in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. In the first letter, President Tinubu nominated Senator Magnus Abe to serve as the NUPRC board chair and nominated Adegbite Ebiwe Adeniji, a lawyer, as chairman of the NMDPRA board. The President urged the Senate to confirm the nominees promptly following the recent appointment of CEOs for both agencies, Orishemiwa Eyeson for NUPRC and engineer Saidu Aliyu Mohammed for NMDPRA. President Bola Tinubu has also ordered a manhunt for the terrorists responsible for a deadly attack on communities in Niger State that left more than 40 people dead and many others abducted. In a statement personally signed by him, the President said he had directed the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Service Chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the Department of State Services to track down the perpetrators of the Kasu and Daji attack and ensure they are brought to justice. The President further ordered the immediate rescue of all abducted victims and directed that security operations around vulnerable communities, particularly those near forests, be intensified. Moving on, troops of Operation Warrior Stroke (OPWS) have recovered high-caliber rifles and grenades in Takom local government area of Taraba State. In the raid, the military said delivered a major blow against criminal networks operating in the Benue-Taraba axis. This was contained in a statement by the acting media information officer of the Joint Task Force, Lieutenant Ahmed Zubairu. Zubairu said the army carried out the raid after becoming aware of the movement of an associate of a notorious criminal kingpin, John Gata. According to the statement, the soldiers swiftly mounted a snap roadblock at Zakibiam, Benue State, where the suspect was intercepted without resistance. Gara also assured residents of the joint operations area that the task force would continue to prioritize troop welfare, logistics, support, and operational readiness, while urging the public to sustain the flow of credible intelligence. Meanwhile, Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has announced a cabinet reshuffle. In a statement released in Ibadan by Special Advisor on Media, Sulaiman Olanrewaju, the governor announced the immediate removal of the secretary to the state government, Professor Olanike Adeyemo. Professor Musiba Babatunde has now been appointed as the new secretary to the state government, while Barrister Temilolu Ashamu has been redeployed from the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources to the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. The governor also named his senior special assistant on public works, Ademola Aderito, as a commissioner designate. Meanwhile, Abiodun Adedoja has been appointed special advisor on energy security, and Kolawole Elijah Akomu is now senior special assistant on budget and economic planning. And out to business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) is facing increasing financial pressure as unviable and underperforming subsidiaries continue to deepen intercompany indebtedness, pushing outstanding obligations owed to the company to 30 trillion 300 billion naira. Latest findings from the company's 2024 audited financial statement show that debts owed by subsidiaries, joint ventures, and other related entities rose by 70.4%, representing an increase of 12 trillion 520 billion naira from 17 trillion 780 billion naira in 2023 to 30 trillion 300 billion naira as of December 31, 2024. The share price has raised fresh concerns about the company's liquidity management and long-term financial sustainability. An analysis of the audited account recently released by the National Oil Company revealed that several of its core operating subsidiaries, particularly refineries, trading arms, and gas infrastructure units, were responsible for the bulk of the growing intercompany receivables. And that's about it on the news on Daybreak Live. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Anuluakpo Ido. Bye for now.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok @Dominion Broadcast and on X @DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
It's the 6th day of January 2026. What a good day to check into the print and see what the papers are saying. Good morning and welcome once again to the newspaper headlines and analysis right here on Dominion Television, where we get into the stories that are breaking and making the rounds across the nation. Sometimes we delve across, and yonder into other regions of the world, particularly of interest, Venezuela, Cuba, and the United States. Well, all of that in the news today. We have so many stories right on the papers this morning. We'll check into one of them after the other. We check the Leadership newspaper, we check into the Punch newspaper and the Daily Telegraph, as many as we can lay our fingers on this morning. I have so many stories calling my attention, saying pick me. But of course, we start with the Leadership newspaper this morning. What do we have on the print? This one, the bold caption. The biggest of captions right on the front page of the Leadership newspaper says 19 banks meet new capital requirements ahead of March 31 deadline. And that's talking business on Leadership newspaper. If you have your eyes on that story, quite interesting to check out this morning that 19 banks are meeting new capital requirements ahead of March 31 deadline. You want to get more into that story, check page 4 of the Leadership newspaper this morning. I'll move on from there to see the story that is also making the rounds. Federal government will case retirement age extension for skilled health workers. So if it is that, like they say, whatever is good for this is good for that, but that might not be the case for that particular ministry. Federal government is now saying yes to retirement age extension for skilled health workers. Of course, why don't we have 70 plus surgeons and all of those skilled professionals, like we say, maybe consultants, as we know them to be called. Their age does not really matter as much as we also need their experience, right? So maybe that's why the federal government is saying that is the right way to go, and that's a good one, right? But if you check the top the top face of the Leadership newspaper as we have it right this morning, Wike ruling party national scribe clash over reverse politics. That, if you've seen the video, you understand the story a bit more. But we'll check into that story properly when we write on the big story in a while. Of course, we'll take that story as well, that hold your governors accountable. Employers Association urges Nigerians. That's on page 27 of the Leadership newspaper this morning, saying you need to, and I think it's a good conversation really, that we all clamor and speak to the presidency. Does not mean the presidency is the only person in charge of the affairs of the country. I mean, maybe at the national level, yes, but what about the state level? What about the local government? What about those people that have been, put there in the interest of the people to serve the interest of the people? But are they serving their interest or the people's interest? Well, anyway, that's another conversation. Now, data consumption soars 35% to 13.2 million terabytes on rising internet usage. That's coming from the NCC report. You want to get more into that report, check the Leadership newspaper this morning for more of that story. Government introduces candidate tracking to curb exam fraud. That's a good one. Talking education this morning. Government is introducing candidate tracking to curb exam fraud. That's on page 23. Something to check out this one. Very interesting because we understand, I would say that examination malpractice and corruption in school has also been an age-long thing. But if we are tackling that and we are getting the better of it, I think it's the best way to go. And it's a good development. I hope it moves from the point of being said to being done. It goes from the talk to walking the talk. I think that should be the right way to go. And if you can see, just like you've seen right on the Leadership newspaper, you see the picture, and of course that's Maduro, the Venezuelan president. Now, according to the United States, they said they have captured himself, the wife, and then they are going to question them for drug-related offenses. That's also something every eyes and every nose is trying to ask the question, what becomes of Maduro? What becomes of Venezuela? But we'll keep our fingers crossed and tell you and bring you up to speed as every of those stories break. Now, Dangote Refinery also is dismissing something. You want to know what they are dismissing? Dismisses shutdown claim, says it maintains 50 million liters daily petrol output. That is a good one from the Dangote Refinery. There's been claims also in some quarters that the Dangote Refinery is planning to shut down. It says, no, we are not shutting down. We are here to do business and we're here to stay. And it seems like a good one, especially for many people, considering what Dangote has done, especially during the festive period, how that the price of PMS became something affordable by many. And I think it's a good way to go. Just like we've also spoken about the issue that we should have competitive market structure in the country, not autonomy for some persons, not nepotism, not some persons taking advantage of all the market forces and all of that. That's also something to check. I will take a swipe from the Leadership newspaper now. New Telegraph newspaper has something else to say, but we'll check right into what we have on New Telegraph newspaper this morning. Yeah, APC to Wike, resign, don't bring PDP spirit into our party. That is the story. But yes, I cannot do the analysis on my own because I have someone joining me. But that will be after this break. Join us again on Newspaper Headlines and Analysis.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
And thank you for staying tuned. It's still the newspaper headlines and analysis on Dominion Television. And we're checking into the print and bringing out the stories that are making the rounds. The high points, the low points. Of course, we discussed them. Now, the analysis segment. And I wouldn't do this alone. I have with me Leonard in the house. Leonard is a public affairs analyst. Ibe Leonard Chidera joining us this morning. Good morning to you this morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yes, we are going to get into the print, but just before then, I don't know if you've been abreast of the old saga, with Wike, Fubara, and all of that in the political space. We've seen the defection story, or even in other parties. We've seen the game of godfatherism across board. But it seems like it's never dying, especially for Wike and Fubara. But there was something that happened just recently, and that's the APC National Secretary, exchanging words, in war of words with Fubara. over with Wike over Fubara. And then, one of the things they said, particularly Wike now, he said, don't meddle in Rivers affairs. And that's coming from him. Your attempt to destabilize our party in Rivers won't be tolerated. That's coming from Senator Bashiru replying to Wike. It seems to be a game of words between them. But beyond that, we know there is a political undertone to that. What happened there was not just the old situation. There was more to it. There was more before the time that it happened. So I want to get a glimpse of your understanding on this. Joseph, what do you make of this?
Well, first of all, just as he said, that godfatherism in Nigeria, of course, is something that I don't think is dying anytime soon, compared to people that gave us this democracy, talking about America and the rest, godfatherism there is not something that is as brutal as it is in Nigeria. And the way Wike is taking it, I think Wike is taking it out of scope even, thinking himself to be more of a ghost. And that is what gave him the impetus of, being that brutal. I mean, talking to the secretary of, talking, like getting fully into APC affairs in Rivers State, which, if he should be in his right mind or not, right frame of mind, should know that, okay, that should be an SS. But then, even at that, he should also be aware that the game of godfatherism is an APC way of doing things. We've had it from, the first candidate, that is the president, him running and saying, "Emilio, come my turn." That is to show you that there has been a godfatherism pattern, And Wike, no matter how he thinks of himself or whatever he thinks of himself, he should know that the game he's playing, I mean, the people he's playing with are, more of his predecessors and teachers, and he should know that he learned that from them.
But some might disagree with you, because a lot of persons feel Wike is not supposed to be in that frame. He should not be the one calling the shot, especially for the APC. And this was what happened. So sometimes last week, Wike said to the press that there's nothing like PDP and APC in Rivers State, that everybody is running under the mandate of the Renewed Hope agenda. I said that publicly. Okay. And that was one of the things that brought about this, to say, you can't be in two parties. You belong to the PDP. There's been claims of anti-party activities that you are doing. Some are saying, oh, you are doing something that is against what we should do in the party. Others are saying, well, it's not a big deal as long as everything is going as fine as it should. Now, that was what brought about many things, saying that if you say there's no APC, there's no PDP in a party, who are you to declare that? So, that could have been the reason. But let's strike it a bit further to exfoliate this issue just one bit now. What do you think is going to be the end, say 2027, for Wike, for Fubara? What do you make of this? What's your projection into 2027? All right.
Wike saying there is no PDP, there is no APC in Rivers State, meaning that there is Wike. I think that is a summary of what he's trying to say, that my decision stands, unopposed. And just as they say that absolute power corrupt, absolutely. Now, the truth of the matter is that APC has gotten involved, because Fubara pitching his tent with APC already shows you that APC will always recognize him as the first candidate or as the first citizen of Rivers State, and they are going to work more with him, whether Wike likes it or not. Now, Wike should understand that in the grand scheme of things, he's nobody as it stands now, because he's just a staff to the president, because he's just a minister. And of course, we understand politics, and we should know that no matter what happens, Wike will always, Fubara as it stands now, will always have an upper hand in whatever is happening in Rivers State. And, but you see Wike, I think sometime last week, he met with the king, telling the king that the king should stay away from whatever is happening, their political affairs, come 2023. And, that is the way. Yeah?
Come 2027.
Yeah, 2027, sorry. Now, that is to show you his efforts to, try to, because already he's in control of the House of Assembly members. So he's trying to make sure that he subdues everybody, and then so that it will be a fight of him and Fubara alone. And then I thank God now that APC is getting involved fully. And if that is just as it is the case, if it continues that way, I'm very sure that he's not going to have anything. I mean, the game he's playing, we've had people like Ganduje in 2022, 2023. We saw how Pankwasu silenced him. We've had people like that, playing same game in Kwara State, Saraki. These are people that they were that powerful. But then at the end of the day, what happened? They had to, step down. Definitely, things will flow, no matter how you see it.
So let me get your word, like the umpire for today now. In one word,
Okay.
who will win? Wike, Fubara, just in one word.
Wike. I'm sorry, Fubara. I mean,
You want Fubara to win, but your mouth wants Wike.
No, Wike has made himself so brutal that he's almost on everybody's mouth. I mean, every Nigerian knows Wike, but what is he known for? That's the question.
Yeah, let's delve away, maybe shortly away from politics, to talk something of interest. I mean, the lives of people at stake. Yobe accident happened, just yesterday, and it was all over the news. Yobe boat accidents that are involved. Now, the death toll, according to what we have in the papers this morning, has risen to 29, and 10 people are still missing. This speaks to, sometimes some would say, maybe allegedly, the, should we say, lack or inadequacy of our response team, of, should we say, immediate response team or emergency response team in the country. We've seen the story of Anthony Joshua as well. There were claims also that the first responders came quite late. Others are saying that, oh yeah, the FRC and other institutions came out to say, you know what, we did what we should do. There was no issue. But what do we speak to this? What do you say to this? Because I'm seeing, this is not the first time. This is not the second. We've seen a trajectory of this. But how can we curtail this in the country?
Well, it's a problem of infrastructure and then having strong institutions. Sometime last year, Minister of Interior, Ojo, I think he visited a fire service outlet somewhere in Abuja, a heart of the country like Abuja, and then he found out that all of them were, not ready, so to say. Now, even if the government should, put these things in place, Nigerians as well need to, play a vital role in being active and, proactive towards, whatever their duty should be and is. And so it's a two-way thing. And I think federal government and state government then extended to the local government, just as the president is trying to make sure that the local governments are effectively working now. So I think it's a two-way thing that the government should be contributing their own quota, and then the employees or the staff of those offices should be proactive to carry out their duties. But then, to be fair, Nigeria is still is a third world country. So as a matter of fact, we'll get there hopefully. We don't have to give up on our country. We believe that with time we'll get there.
Okay, so let's lighten up on your state one bit. The governor of your state, Ajinashi Makinde, he got into the news just yesterday as well, because he sacked his SSG, that's Professor Adeyemo, and announced instant replacement. We've seen cabinet reshuffle. This is not the first time. And it's a good thing that we have it reported that, okay, there's a need for this, and then they give a bit of claims to say, oh, this is why we're doing this. But what do you think could have gone wrong? I mean, let's talk politics and your state. What do you think could have been the issue for the governor to sack his SSG just when he has about 3 more years, if close to that, to leaving the office?
Well, I think was it 2 weeks ago that we heard Makinde, this is a fight with Wike too. Makinde said openly that he is not yet supporting the president. Like, he has not declared his support for the president, because I think they had a meeting and Wike told the president that he should not bother about the PDP, that he will take care of the PDP for him. So I think Makinde responded. And now we can as well assume, there is no facts to back up this. We can well assume that maybe the president has, put his bait on what's his name again, Makinde's appointee, and is what the president can do. I mean, he won here in 2023, and then it's something he can do. Okay, if the governor is saying that he's not going to be on my side, okay, I can easily, quickly work with someone else. So that could be what is at stake, for such, because obviously Makinde is not running again. So any person that he's working with now should be at least, okay, just rounding up with people, there is nothing at stake for him, so to say, unless he, declares interest for the presidency.
Okay, so let's talk politics a bit now.
Okay.
2027.
Okay.
Does PDP have a chance in Oyo State? Do you think PDP would have its hold on Oyo?
I think looking at the governor, first of all, looking at the governor, I don't think he's having any kind of problems with the state, with the people of the state. And as a matter of fact,
are you sure there was protest in Oyo State not too long ago? There was protest about the secular road. I mean, a lot of persons were there
yeah,
too.
all right, okay, all right, that's true. But then, okay, now if you put Makinde's tenure together, I think he has done averagely well. And if he should project somebody for the state, I think people will easily have sentiment for the person.
Are you sure? Have you seen other candidates? Maybe not to mention. Have you seen people that have been pushed for other positions,
from
other parties?
Yes. Yeah, of course, I've seen.
So you think PDP has a strong hold on Oyo?
I still believe that.
Okay.
I still believe that, regardless of the fact that APC won the presidency here. But we can see as well, we can see the sharp contrast that, okay, APC won here in 2023, the presidency, I mean, because the governor wasn't in support of PDP. But I bet you if the governor was in support of Atiku, Atiku would have won here as well.
Are you sure?
Or are you trying to say, or unless you're trying to say that, okay, we put ethnic sentiments in place, because if we should put ethnic sentiments in place, that's when we can, say, okay, Bola Ahmed Tinubu can win Atiku in this. But as for party-wise, I think PDP has a strong footprint here for me, because don't forget that PDP came from the bench to unseat Ajumobi. Not unseat, rather, to pick over from Ajumobi. Let's not forget that. And that was because of the person of Makinde. So if you should project somebody, I think they should be able to, PDP should be able to keep their footprint. But even the people that will be projected from APC, maybe let me not mention names, but then I'm not seeing any of them doing perfectly well in the federal level currently as it stands now.
Okay, can just mention it, and maybe we can understand where you're coming
from. Let's talk about Adelabu, the minister.
You think Adelabu is not doing well?
Yeah, of course. You would agree with me as well, that he's the minister of power. What has changed? I mean, before he got into power, Nigeria was producing about 5,000 something megawatts, 5,002 megawatts of electricity. And now we just stepped it up by 600 megawatts only within the space of 2 years, him being in office. And then he's bringing up this not very good idea of Band A, Band B.
Classification.
That is making people run wires all over the country. I mean, that's a very...
So if you have a scorecard on him now,
yeah.
what would you rate him on a scale of 100?
On a scale of 100, maybe 35, 40. He's not doing well. We have to admit that.
But is he doing that bad?
I think he's preoccupied with his governorship intentions or plans. For me, that's what I'm seeing. But then I think he has, even as it stands, I think he has if he should go, properly, how things should be done, like by winning people's sentiment. I think he has the opportunity to do whatever he can, to get things to his favor. Because being the minister of power and Nigeria having been, struggling with energy for a period of time, just imagine him utilizing this gas. One thing Tinubu has done well is the idea of, commercializing gas instead of wasting it. And now we can say that, according to facts and figures we have on ground, that Nigeria is being able to utilize 98% of gas, which was fled previously.
But sorry, that does not go only into the account of the president, Tinubu. It goes also into the account of the minister of power.
Yeah. Now that's what I'm about to get into now. Now, if we are able to utilize this gas, something was done in the gas plant, the generation plant in the electricity generation plant in Abia State that is utilizing gas. Now, that can be brought to Oyo State. We can have one in Ibadan.
But that's not Adelabu's duty to bring it to Oyo particularly.
But then he's the minister of power. I mean, everything happening
what
within
if
that.
The government in Oyo is not willing to do that? It won't force it on them.
But I mean, that's federal. And
so you expect him to use
I understand what they're saying. Although yeah, I understand that there is this power that has been, dished out to states to manage electricity. Yeah, but then that does not withdraw the access. It doesn't withdraw access to the federal. No, it rather, makes more of, gives room for independency. So he still has that room, I think. He still has that room.
Okay, so let's talk global politics as we round up very quickly.
Okay.
You've seen, of course, you must have been abreast of the Venezuelan President Maduro.
Yeah.
So he came out to say just in the U.S. court recently that he is not guilty. I mean, a lot of claims people have, some have pitched behind this tent to say, yeah, that's what we are saying. We are putting our force behind you. We are backing you. And then others have said it calls for, territorial domineering, or should we say territorial sovereignty, that we should not have this kind of thing happening where a president of another country comes to pick up another president and says we want to charge him to court and all that. So what do you make of this? What's your comprehensive thought on this?
All right, okay. First of all, U.S. is a world power currently. They are the world power. And what does that mean? Any country that are having crisis, to manage their crisis, they will have to, want to, get a little bit from the United States, right? We had similar issue in Somalia, and they gave an open hand to Somalians, and they moved, massively to the United States. And today we are seeing what is happening in Minnesota. They are constituting nuisance, causing problems, and challenging the president, treasonable offense. And that is because they were the world power and they lended their hands, right? And now, so that is why whatever they are doing now, what is the need when there is sovereignty but there is no sanity? So now, them US getting involved, they are only there to tame the excesses of Maduro. And in as much as we understand that, there's sovereignty, but then we cannot take away sanity. I mean, people there, as of 2021, we saw what happened in Venezuela, that their legal currency, their money, the legal tender, the legal tender was, split all around the street. So these are, excesses. I think what US did there is actually in line.
I think we'll still have some other time to talk about this. Thank you very much for joining us, Leonard Ibe, Richard, this morning. Thank you very much. It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And of course, we now switch focus to the big story. Of course, with Samson, there's so much to talk about: politics, Fubara, and every of those intricacies surrounding those issues. We'll get into, but that will be shortly after this break. Stay with us and don't go nowhere.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB event today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Story, where we go beyond the headlines to examine the power plays shaping our democracy. Today we turn our focus to Rivers State, Nigeria's oil-rich political battleground, where loyalty, defection, and authority are colliding in dramatic fashion. Our Big Story asks a critical question: defection politics, as Fubara outsmarted his political godfather. At the heart of this unfolding drama is the intense power tussle between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his once all-powerful political benefactor, Nyesom Wike. With shifting alliances, party defections, and strategic shows of force, Rivers State is fast becoming a test case for godfatherism, governance, and the future of political loyalty in Nigeria. To help us unpack this, we are joined by Ofino Ebrusalome Ignatius, who will provide insight into the politics, the strategy, and the consequences for the people of Rivers State. Samson Balogun is my name, and thank you for joining us. Political defections are not new in Nigeria, but what we are witnessing today goes beyond the usual crossing of party lines across the country. Governors, lawmakers, and political heavyweights are switching allegiances, not always out of ideology, that has been established, but out of survival, control, and access to power. Rivers State stands at the center of this storm. The once solid political structure built by Nyesom Wike is facing its toughest internal challenge since he left office. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, initially seen as a loyal protege, has gradually asserted independence, reshaping loyalties within the State Assembly, the executive, and the wider political space. This struggle has triggered a leadership crisis that has paralyzed governance at critical moments, created institutional tension, and raised serious concerns about stability. Yes, don't forget that there had to be a period when a sole administrator, Ibokete Hibas, Vice Admiral Ibokete Hibas, was brought on board. And it is not the politicians who suffer first. It is the people. Development slows, policies stall, and uncertainty replaces confidence. Perhaps the most dangerous signal in this conflict is the brand of politics now on display. Wike's decision to publicly assemble both PDP and APC chairmen in Rivers State on the same stage is more than symbolism. It is a raw demonstration of political dominance. It sends a clear message: party structures can be bent, blurred, or broken in to suit personal influence. This kind of politics weakens democratic institutions, erodes party ideology, and leaves citizens wondering, if political parties no longer stand for anything, who truly represent the people? And as this battle threatens to go to the finish line, the bigger question becomes, what will be left of Rivers State when the dust settles? Will governance survive the ego clash? And can democracy thrive where godfathers still believe power must flow only through them? These are the issues we are examining this morning. Thank you for joining us. I have with me in the studio, Ofino. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Samson.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
Good to have you on the show.
I'm delighted to be here this morning.
There's a lot to unpack. Nyesom Wike has done something that I can say that there's no precedence for it in Rivers State. Let me limit it to Rivers State. But across the country, I don't really think, if not for a musical jamboree, for any political reason, I don't think we have seen two party chairmen of different parties come together on the same stage and then have what they had in Rivers State. Let's see where Nyesom Wike brought the two chairmen from the APC and from the PDP and what is said to them on that stage. And the clear signal is sent to the governor of Rivers State, even though he did not mention names, but definitely he was sending a message.
This is the chairman of APC. This is the chairman of PDP. Any state that can do it, tell them to come out. Not be to talk cha.
No be whoa. Yes, so we can our leader. Oh. No be cha. No be we can our leader. No be whoa. No be whoa. Yes, so we can our leader. No be cha. Yes, so we can our leader.
If I don't say this, let me warn those who come to Rivers State because you have heard about 600 billion. You come here, you collect, and you open your mouth, you talk anyhow. I want to say it. You know, when you are doing something for the interest of everybody, some people will come out to make sure those things don't work. I say it here, Victor, I want to say it here. Take this message. Tell your national secretary, leave Rivers State alone. Leave Rivers State alone. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Go and ask those who have tried it before.
Kapinta, Birikila, Owa Pondolindole, Kamanga, Wukandalewa, Owa Pondolindole, Kapinta, Birikila, Owa Pondolindole, Kamanga, Wukandolewa, Owa Pondolindole, Kapinta, Birikila, Owa Pondolindole, Kamanga, Wukandolewa, Owa Pondolindole.
Don't take our support from Mr. President for granted. You have to be careful the statement you make. You have to be careful. Today, you are enjoying in Osun. You don't know those who did the work. You are opening your mouth to talk about Rivers State. Anything you see, take it. Anything you see, what? Take it.
Agreement is agreement, yo. Agreement is agreement, yo. Without reaching for settlement, you can't tell me nonsense. Agreement is agreement, yo.
When Mr. President comes back, when I see the Minister of Blue Economy, I will tell them to tell him, go and ask other people what has happened to them before. Putting Rivers State, carry your hand to come to Rivers State. If your hand burns, don't say the people no more. I can challenge anybody. This state is a no-go area. This state is a no-go area.
Agreement is agreement. Yes, we can surely enjoy what he currently does in Rivers State. Ofino, you saw that.
I saw
he was enjoying it. But then he made some statement that the National Secretary of the APC should not take his support for the president for granted. And he said whatever he sees, he should take it. Now, is it now clear that this is no longer a disagreement in River State? It has become a full-blown Cold War between Siminalayi Fubara and his one-time, who we call one-time benefactor politically, that it's now a war between them.
There is one thing Malcolm X asserted. He said, they pay one of us to kill one of us, just to say it was one of us. I repeat again, they pay one of us to kill one of us, just to say it was one of us. That is the clear scenario that just happened in River State. All the political gladiators in River State, the political blocks in River State, they are all political merchants. They don't have the love of the people at heart. Men that lack ideology, men that lack what we call personal philosophy, men that does not believe in what we call service delivery to the people. You can see the way Wike was behaving like an aggressor. We don't need political aggression in this country.
Is it becoming erratic?
It's becoming erratic. Is our democracy a model in Africa, let alone before the rest of the world? Look at the way he was boasting. He's trying to play God. You can see, you must be civil in character, no matter what. River State is bigger than Barrister Nyesom Wike. Nigeria is bigger than Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Generation yet unborn, we still exist in Nigeria. But it's rather sad and unfortunate, the arrogance of power that is being displayed by our politicians. One, they are desperate for political power. Two, they have that personal greed that I want to control the resources of the state.
Does Wike does he have too much power in River State? And in all of this, where is the place of people like Rotimi Amechi, Celestine Omeya, Peter Odili? These are past governors. These are people who should be influential in their state.
Every state and region has their own peculiarity.
Are they incapacitated?
But the way he is behaving here now, he cannot do it in the southwest.
Have they suddenly become weak?
They are not weak. But it's just unfortunate that, sometimes you don't want to become aggressive with someone that you feel knows it all.
But if you leave it all to Nyesom Wike, what will happen to River State?
There is going to be a problem. Wike has a problem on ground. What's the problem? He's gradually losing the control of the state. And he's looking for a way to fight back. We all know what happened, what he did against Siminalayi Fubara by embarrassing him and ensuring that a 6-month state of emergency was declared. So even though Siminalayi Fubara ruled for just a single term, it is in history he never ruled for 4 years. He only ruled for 3 years and 6 months. So sad. Just because of one man, the greed of one man. There may have been an agreement, but there is one thing you must know. There is a cover-up. Siminalayi Fubara was never a politician. He's just a technocrat, a professional man in the civil service. He rose to the rank of the accountant general of the state. So we cannot try to impose him to be his next successor. There was an agreement. Probably there is a cover-up. There are questions to be asked. Ask Wike, why did you decide to nominate and impose Siminalayi Fubara as the PDP candidate against other party interests? Probably there was a cover-up. There was a shady deal between the two of them. So when there was a fallout between the two of them, Wike decided to play the game of what? A godfather.
Now,
things are falling apart between the two of them.
Let me ask you this question, right? When they had the issue, the fallout, state of emergency was declared in River State.
Yes.
A Nyesom Wike, one way or the other, find a way that Ibokete Ibas was made the sole administrator. Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas was made the sole administrator. 6 months down the line, he came back to office, yes. But then after that, he cross-carpeted to the APC. Now, automatically, the APC constitution says whoever is the governor of the state suddenly and automatically becomes a leader of the party.
Yes.
Now, as Fubara genuinely outsmarted his godfather in politics.
I wouldn't say he has genuinely outsmarted him. There's nothing like outsmarting anyone. The governor has only one vote. Wike still have the political structure of the state.
Are you sure?
He still controls the political structure of the state. The only thing that happened now is the people, the good people of Rivers State, that must ensure that democracy in Rivers State is sustainable.
Are they afraid of Wike?
I wouldn't know. I'm not from Rivers State.
Some say he
But
enjoys
Governor Wike, Barrister Nyesom Wike is trying to hold the state to ransom.
Some say he enjoys being called Wicked Wike. Is that true?
I wouldn't know. That is derogatory. That is derogatory. But there is one thing you must know, that Wike still remains in PDP. He's still a serving minister under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC. Now, Wike is being seen as a political spoiler. He's being seen as a mole in PDP. For now, if the president has said, based on their own APC constitution, that Fubara is the leader of the state, there's nothing wrong about it. But will Wike succumb? So now, Wike should be more careful. He should tread softly, or else the president might have no choice than to ask Wike to tender his resignation. Because now look at what Wike have done. He invited the state chairman of APC and also the state chairman of PDP. They came together. It was just a mockery of democracy.
Is Wike becoming a burden to the president?
For now, Wike has become a burden to the president, although the president has also benefited from Wike's betrayal of his party.
So if you put that side by side, the benefits and the consequences now.
When we are talking about the benefit now, this is the first time a PDP-controlled state is defecting and joining APC. Since 1999, Rivers State has been controlled by what? By PDP. So it's a plus to the president, but there is a consequence. Do you know the consequence? We don't know what is going to happen in 2027. Because when you are talking about Similaye Fubara feels that he has been embarrassed by Wike. He was also being embarrassed by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For now, he has no choice than just for him to defend, so that peace can reign. Let the sleeping dog lie, but it's without his volition.
Is the
he
sleeping
did not
dog lying now?
Willingly.
Is the sleeping dog sleeping now? Is it lying? For
now, he's partially sleeping. Because what I'm saying is this: the governor have no choice. Whatever the governor have done is against his own personal will. The governor has been humiliated.
The spread of defection across the country, is it more of coercion or mutual agreement to move from one party to the other?
No, when you look at most of our politicians today, they lack what we call personal ideology and philosophy. There is one thing I admire about the president. Since 1999, he has been in the opposition. He chose to be in the opposition.
And built it.
And built it in 2015. They came to the helm of affairs. They became the ruling party. That shows that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a model. When you are talking about personal philosophy and personal ideology. But the rest people today, which excuse do you want to give? If you know that your hands are clean and you are innocent, you don't need to be afraid of EFCC or ICPC. So when I hear some PDP governor saying that they were being coaxed, I said no. That shows that your hands are not clean. If you are not corrupt, you don't need to be afraid of EFCC or ICPC. That shows that they are corrupt. That was why when the APC decided to use EFCC to ensure them, they have no choice than to defect. But if their hands were clean, they will choose to stay in their party and build it.
Are we now seeing gradual collapse of political structures, and then we are seeing more of what we will call political empires by individuals?
There is one thing I've discovered in this country, that it seems that this president wants to run a one-party state in Nigeria. And he should be very careful. You know my friend, President Donald Trump. You know what he did to the Venezuelan president? All eyes are on Nigeria now. We don't know who is going to be the next president. So Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be very careful. We don't want a one-party state in Nigeria. When democracy started in 1999, I remembered PDP won 21 states. The People's Democratic Party. The All Nigerian People's Party, ANPP, won 9 states. While Alliance for Democracy, AD, won 6 states. And from 1999 to 2003, there was nothing like defection. But subsequently, because PDP decided to hijack the Southwest in 2003 election.
That was the beginning of
defection. It was only Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu that chose to remain in AD. Then from AD, he now decided to form a party called Action Congress. Then subsequently, there was what we call Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN. So when we are talking about the APC now, CPC has ruled for 8 years. The CPC bloc under Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory. Now it's now the what? ACN bloc that is ruling. We don't know whether the new PDP bloc is still in existence in APC. We don't know. We don't know if
PDP of that time.
The new PDP. There was the new PDP. Yeah, Bukola Saraki.
NPDP.
Yes, NPDP.
Yes, that brings us to the question of the APC chairman in Kwara State accused Bukola Saraki of silently supporting the president. And then he dared him to publicly join the APC in Kwara State.
That shows that there is no secret anywhere. They are not, when we are talking about men of character, they are men of principle. In the United States, they run what we call multi-plural democracy. It is not only the Republican Party and the Democrat Party that is in existence. So we have other parties in the United States too. But the most dominant of them all is Republican and the Democrat. When you are talking about the Republican, you are talking about the conservative Americans. But when you are talking about the Democrat, do you know what makes the Democrat to win all the time? It's the immigrants. Whenever Democrats are in power, they allow you to enter America freely. They issue visa. So Trump was able to identify that this is the only strategy the Democrats always use. You can see what Trump is doing presently. There's a visa ban because he wants to reduce
the immigrants.
The dominance of the Democrats
in America.
They have discovered their strategy. That their only strategy is based on what? The immigrants. When you become an American citizen by registration, you also have the right to cast your vote. Right. So all those immigrants that becomes citizens of America by registration, they have no choice than to do what? To vote for the Democrat. So Donald Trump has discovered the strategy. So he wants to weaken that strategy, the game of power. So that was why he decided to place what we call visa ban and visa restriction for immigrants.
Now, if we go back to Rivers State, what is currently going on there? Is Rivers State at risk of prolonged instability if this becomes a battle to finish?
There is going to be a prolonged instability, political instability in Rivers State. But there is one thing you must know, that Niger Delta is a volatile region. So those political gladiators must tread softly. Most of them are playing God. That is where the problem lies. They don't want to succumb to each other. And that is the problem in PDP today. Personal greed and desperation for what? For power. Who want to control the structure of the party. So when we are talking about the delegate system, you can see they say the governor of the state is the leader of the party. One. He controls the party executive. He controls the structure of the party. So when we are talking about the delegate system, he's the one that will nominate those who will go and cast their vote. And the president is usually afraid of the governor during national convention. Presidents are usually afraid. That's why sometimes the president will just say, let me allow the governor to nominate, to have their way and nominate their own candidate, so that I can also have my own way during national convention. So there's a problem on ground. There should be a difference between the national chairman and the president. Like what happened during the days of High Chief Adisa Akinloye. Alhaji Shehu Shagari GCFR was the executive president of Nigeria, but he was always answerable to High Chief Adisa Akinloye. Sometimes the president will come down, will fly down to Ibadan to come and see Adisa Akinloye. He sees him as the leader of the party. But in 1999, there was nothing like that anymore. The president becomes the leader of the party. I don't think it's fair.
Given the economic and what you call strategic importance of Rivers State politically,
yes,
could this crisis in Rivers State snowball into security tensions and legal issues in Rivers?
Yes, the tendency is there. Because when you look at the Niger Delta is a volatile region. The militants are still there. There is still arms smuggling in the Niger Delta region. Now, when we are talking about these political gladiators, they have their own foot soldiers. And their foot soldiers are always armed to the teeth. So there is a problem on ground. Wike will not just be boasting. Wike has his own foot soldiers in Rivers State. Amechi has his own foot soldiers in Rivers State. Dr. Peter Odili has his own foot soldiers also in Rivers State. So there is a problem on ground. You must not allow the state to be engulfed by political crisis. Then look at the issue of Nyesom Wike now. Nyesom Wike is going haywire. Because of what? Federal might. And you can see that this is the first time someone from the Niger Delta is being appointed as the minister of the federal capital territory. You can see. And you can see the president has always been the beneficiary. Because what the president is looking for, the president knows that he's going to win Lagos. It's a settled case. Now he's looking for a way. How do I win Rivers State? And how do I win Kano State? You can see Kwakwanso. Wherever the president is going, Kwakwanso of NNPP, you see him with the president too. So we need men that has what we call ideology and principle. If you want to be in PDP, let us know that you are in PDP to the core. If you want to be in APC, be in APC and let us know that you are a member to the core.
With what Wike is currently doing, with his style of politics, could it mean that he might likely commit what you call self-injury?
If care is not taken, there is what we call Yorubaism. When we talk about Southwest, they are very intelligent politically. Look at what happened in the days of Abiola. Abiola was killed. If it was the Igbo, there would have been war. But the Yoruba choose the path of peace. Yorubaism is an ideology. What does it mean? Peace to acquire power. Diplomacy to acquire power. And at the end of the day, we are compensated. Obasanjo ruled for 8 years.
Right.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, 8 years as Vice President. Now, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and there is the tendency for him to rule for what? For 8 years. That is Yorubaism for you. When it comes to issue of politics, they understand the rules. Not playing politics of violence. There is a game, there is a way you play it. So now what Wike is doing is what I call politics of what? Aggression. Now, Wike is being seen as someone that is playing politics without civility. He's being seen as a mole in PDP. He's being seen as a traitor in PDP. He's being seen as a political spoiler in PDP. So if Tony Okocha, the APC chairman, is invited, he has always been an ally of Wike. Right from the onset.
Okay, now.
So for him to have come, I don't see anything like that. I don't see anything new.
Let me ask you this very quickly, just before we go. How do you see this issue? I mean, what's the end game? What do you foresee in Rivers State? Does it mean that eventually there will be what you call compromise, total political defeat for Wike, or a temporary ceasefire?
There is one thing I see, there is going to be political vengeance in Rivers State. Not all the electorate will vote for the APC in 2027. Just for them to show empathy with the governor that was humiliated. You know, I keep saying it. The governor presently has defected, not based on his own will or volition, but he was being coaxed based on the current situation. The decision he has taken for now, that is the best decision for now. But deep down his mind, he's not happy with that decision.
So who holds the stronger card in Rivers State now, Wike or Fubara?
For now, because the executive governor wields a lot of political power, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has endorsed the governor to be the leader of APC in that state. For now, the stronger among the two is no other person than Fubara. But Nyesom Wike must be very careful, or else Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will cut down his SSCs.
How simple is that?
Probably before 2027 general election. Because when you are talking about
I don't think the president will be needing Nyesom Wike for the
he needs Wike. So the president that you see is a master strategist. But can Wike be actually trusted? That's the issue. The issue of trust.
What lesson should other governors learn from what is going on in Rivers State as we speak? Lastly.
What the governors should do is this. You have to ensure that you are in charge of the political structure of your state. You must ensure that you as the sitting governor, you are in charge of the political structure of your state. That was one thing I had with Jonathan. I said Jonathan is a weak and fearful president. He was a weak president and also a fearful president. It will be very difficult for anyone or any party to defeat Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Politically. Because he's a political genius and a master strategist.
We'll talk about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu some other time, because some people say his school of thought, his political school of thought needs to be studied.
He has never lost an election before.
Most. And that is when next
he has never lost an election before.
When next I bring you here, we are going to talk about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we'll break down his political class and see what exactly he has done differently over time that has made him thick as a politician. Thank you, Ofino, for joining us on the show this morning. It has been a wonderful and eye-opening session with you. We'll do also bring you back here some other time. All right, the Rivers politics crisis is no longer just about Wike and Fubara. It is about the future of leadership, loyalty, and democratic authority in Nigeria. Is Governor Fubara successfully breaking free from godfather politics? Or is he navigating a dangerous chessboard where every move has consequences? And what happens when power struggle overshadow the real business of governance? These are questions that demand reflection, not just from politicians, but from citizens as well. Many thanks to my guest this morning, Ofino Eboselume Ignatius, for joining us on this crucial conversation. Samson Balogun is my name, and this has been The Big Story. Stay with us, because democracy works better and best when the people stay informed. Up next is Trend Watch.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where inspiration meets entertainment. Do well to link up with us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Broadcast 2, Dominion Cast. All right, you can watch us live on our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Do well to leave a comment on that, and definitely we'll take them on this show. You can also watch us live on our website and Facebook at Dominion Broadcast. The website is at www.dominion.org.ng. Now it's time for Trend Watch, and Anulu Apoidu is here with me, back in the studio with me this morning, with whom we're making sense of what's going on. It's a trending topic actually, and the TUC is in the news.
Absolutely. I mean, to say the TUC is always in the news would not be an overstatement, but it's okay, especially if they are in the news for the right reasons. Because there's been a lot of claims about TUC being partisan in a way, just doing politics instead of fighting for the people they truly, represent. To say this is Trade Union Congress. It's all about the people that are working for for the country and all that. So, but it's what we have on the Trend Watch is that TUC demands Nigerian government's review of workers' salary amid rising cost of living. Sometimes this we don't know if there's been a template that is being sent out to the federal government every now and then. So maybe they mistakenly send this out at this time and time. Because if you have to consider the fact that yes, tax policy is still something to discuss, they did not tie anything to that. They're tying it to rising cost of living. Well, that might be a general thing. That might be a thing to also discuss. But of importance to a lot of persons is the tax policy, the reform tax policy that is making the rounds across the country now. But yes, TUC is demanding a review of salary. I think we've also said this before too, to the government too, that people cannot live on minimum wage. They can live on living wage, because you have to also consider the fact that people need to be satisfied in certain areas. For example, how much can a family of one, a family of two, live on? How much is okay for them to still, maybe just the barest minimum, just to be alive and do what is right by themselves, do what is right by the government, do what is right by their works and jobs in the country to make it more productive. That's one of the things we should consider for the average person. But again, I think some would say the TUC, the NLC have lost their
credibility.
So I didn't want to say, well, you took that word out of my mouth. That's exactly the point. Many Nigerians don't believe what TUC demands again, because they know at the end of the day there's going to be a meeting, federal government meeting with TUC, NLC, and then everything's going to go down the drain.
Because people think it's no longer about the people, it's about the executives. The moment they have a meeting with the government, whenever hands, meet on the table, things change. Eventually, nobody says anything about, the demands again, and then it's swept under the carpet. Now, demands are welcome. It is perfectly understandable that every now and then human beings are insatiable. After you get your first 1 million, you need another 1 million and another 1 million, and you are never satisfied until you know you are no longer there. That's just the rudiment of life. So nobody is really, you cannot really satisfy anyone. Now, when I said, demands are welcome, you see, it's always okay when you make demands, especially the right ones. But your timing really has to make sense. Because if it doesn't, your timing and reason, let me put it that way, your timing and reason really has to make sense. Now, if you check around the country, people will tell you, at this time, I don't think the word to use is rising cost of living. Is it rising as we speak? Are we at the same, there's a level playing field where you feel, okay, it rose to a particular level, dropped back to a particular level, and it stopped moving. I think that is where we are in the country. Because if you check, as of January last year, to what happened in December, how much was a bag of rice in the market?
Foreign exchange,
that's the point I'm trying to make. So how much was a bag of rice in the market? How much was a Congo of bean in the market? How much do they sell yam? These are things that affect average Nigerian families, directly. These are things they go to the market to buy. So if you check the cost from January till December, I don't think it's rising. I think it stopped. And I think it decreased to a particular level and then it stopped there. So the right thing to do now is not to put rising cost of living. It's not rising. We have to get it right. The only mistake I think this administration has made so far, in fact, the APC administration, is they fail to communicate. They fail to pass information across. And when they pass information across to the people, it is always shrouded in secrecy, one way or the other. People don't really get to get the information, I think information is kept inside the information. So you don't really know what they are saying. People just see things and then they don't understand. Or maybe Nigerians don't read anymore, or they no longer care about the information out there. So I think what the TUC is doing right now, I think is just pure what you call pure waste of time, because they have better things to fight for at this time. Now, I'm not saying it is wrong to increase salaries. Every home, the moment you start getting, let's say you are on a 100,000 naira salary, definitely the Yorubas will call bukata, what you spend money on, your responsibilities, your financial obligations becomes that of 200,000 naira. Yeah. Then you start running. I want to make money. I want to have more so that I can do more. And the moment you start making 200,000 naira, you begin to think about 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 until you begin to think of a million. So it is always like that. Now, let's talk. You are talking about salary earners. How about business owners who don't have the enabling environment to do successful businesses, for their businesses to thrive? This is the place you should be looking at. And the new tax rule, which you should join the people to explain to, to Nigerian people, is that it helps small-scale businesses. If you don't make as much as so amount of money, you are not paying tax. And if you are making so amount of money, this is the amount you are paying. And the good thing about it is what you should be explaining to the people, that, businesses will now thrive when these things start to. The problem is, the people this tax issue will now affect, right? They are the ones using the poor as human shield, right? Let's say, for example, someone who has a house in Banana Island knows definitely from this month he pays more tax to the federal government, and then puts fake information out there so that an average Nigerian who ordinarily will not pay any tax will now start fighting. They will start. In fact, when I saw people now putting different captions on their transactions, I laugh, because nobody will charge you on every penny that comes into your account. They will charge you based on what you declare as profit. So that's the basic thing. But nobody is telling the Nigerian people this, and that's why I said this administration has failed when it comes to communicating. I don't think they know exactly how important this is to the people.
I think you've made very cogent and valid points, and I'm saying that part of the points you made, that the reason and the timing has been a problem, especially with them. I think I saw a story just recently as well, maybe about 13 hours ago, that Ayedatiwa present bosses to NLC, TUC, NUT, NUP. So this is one of the claims of people, to say, you people are doing a bit of partisan kind of activity. You are, whatever the government, because it's not as if you are blowing the trumpet for the people, you are blowing for the government. So once they dance to it and then they see you, and that's all, that solves it. There's no...
Sometimes, very quickly, just before you continue, sometimes their claims only come when they want the government to do something for them. As it's not really about the people, it's about the executive. So when they make noise a little bit, just throw a story out there, and the governor calls you and say, look, let's have a discussion. By the time you are leaving, you are not living for free. So, and that's the end of it. You will never hear anything about it again. And it's becoming more and more of a problem.
There's also something called mobilization. I know I'm not sure. Maybe
once you attend politics now.
Yes, if you did politics at the local level, if you go for any protest, walk, whatever you do, they will give you money. There's a particular amount of money that comes to your hand, and then they still. But my point now is, instead of having this kind of conversation, can we have a conversation around the tax issue? Now, this is Trade Union Congress. Right. How does this policy affect trade? Now, look at the SMEs. Look at the small,
so
medium,
come to the market more.
All of those enterprises are the things you can put on the table. Okay, so guys, this is what is the reality. How do we go about this? Okay, so how is it affecting you? Which part of this tax is something we should...
Don't you understand?
So, pinpoint some of those areas that will affect the people, their businesses, their trades, and then let the government tackle it. Or if there's a communication or conversation between you and the federal government, let the tax ombudsman, let all of them, the Taiwo Yedeles, let them come and sit with you and talk about how this is going to benefit the country. Right. It's better off saying that we want increment in salaries. We understand once there's an increment, there's going to be an inflation that's accompanying the increments. This is a case in Nigeria.
You make more money, you pay more.
Instead of all of this, let's do it right to see how we can move from what is reality, tax is something everybody is talking about, but people don't have the idea. They don't have the understanding of all of the intricacies of the tax policy. So let's have them understand this. Let there be an orientation or a communication entity in the TUC that would engage the people and tell them what they should do.
Well, that would be the convenient point to leave it this morning. Absolutely. I just hope that subsequently Nigerians will understand what exactly is coming, in the country and what they need to know, and that definitely the right people will tell people exactly what they need to know about this. And when you are making claims or when you are demanding for things, demand at the right time and for the right reasons, and that's the convenient time to leave it on this show. This morning, we say thank you to everyone, the crew and the producers, for being a part of the show so far. And to our viewers out there, we say thank you to you. Until tomorrow, when we shall be meeting on this same station, same time, same station, definitely same host. Samson Balogun is my name. Say, keep being good out there, keep being safe. Don't forget, champions are those who fail and, of course, who did not stop to keep on doing what they know how to do best to achieve their aims. Thank you.
Join us. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now.